Anyway, so now, what was like your what's like the last real easy job in construction you had? I mean, the real easy one where it just flew by and it was not much of a problem.
It was about a 39-yard house.
A 39-year-old house.
It was probably about 8 foot wide, maybe about 7 foot long. Just one of your standard small one-bedroom home. I mean, it took maybe half a day to do it.
Really?
Yeah, but when we get done, we don't just quit and go home. They usually send us out to another job site, help another crew, or find something at the shop for us to do.
Now what kind of like stuff? Now you already have your gear, like your hammer and stuff like that over here and everything like that. But I was wondering, like, what kind of stuff you like guys bring there? Because I'm sure there's stuff that's not here, right here, that you guys use on the job. What stuff did you use that day besides this stuff here I see?
For that small job?
Yeah.
Oh, just what we have actually.
Oh.
They have a truck that's called a panel truck. What it is, it carries out the forms. And what we do is we pull them off the truck, we set up the forms, put the pins, wedges in them, and just pour. Now on the bigger jobs, there are some that are just like monstrous style or size houses. A lot of times we'll have like certain compounds, flat sheets to do like what we call drop-offs. It's where it goes flat and then drop off and then flat again. We have to put the metal sheets there to keep the concrete from just falling out. Go up and down and under. So it's basically called capping off.
Good.
We'll cap off the ends, we'll pour the concrete, let it sit overnight, go back and just strip it down. I mean, it's the same thing over and over every day.
Well, how are driveways like to do for you?
Driveways?
Yeah, I'm sure you've probably done them before, haven't you?
Not really.
Really?
We usually deal with just straight out walls and basements.
I would think those would be more of a popular thing for concreting.
That's usually dealt with another company. They have different ways of doing it. It's a different grade of concrete. What it is the concrete we use for the basement walls has fibers in it, and the fibers will actually, help hold the wall together during the cold, during the heat, and help set the wall.
Okay. Oh, do you have like construction workers? I mean, how many women construction workers do you have on your jobs?
We actually have none.
Zero, really?
Yeah. It's considered a liability towards women because, I guess, I don't know exactly how to word it, but with some companies like this, if you get women on the job, sometimes it can be a distraction to other men. And a lot of times, it's more or less,
You know what I'm thinking, don't you, when you said that? Distraction, like checking her out.
Checking out, and next thing you got a panel hitting the guy in the head, and he's going to rush out to the hospital. But, I mean, the company I work for, they've never actually had a woman go apply. So I wouldn't say that a woman couldn't get on there, because I've got a few female friends that can carry just as well as most men I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, how well have you seen some of these women carry? I mean, how many women do you know that can actually probably do this job?
A couple. There's one I know. She used to work security for this wrestling group, and one of her things was to show off was she had to carry some of the men back to the back.
Really?
And some of the guys that we used to work with, because I work part-time.
She had to carry the men, physically carry them?
Yeah. Pick them up and carry them over her shoulder.
And I'm sure they were not small framed.
No. From what I understand, she used to have.
Because the average height for a man, is like 5'9".
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, that's just calling me short. I'm 5'8".
Well, people around your height's about average. So I'm thinking these women. I mean, and like, a lot of women are much even shorter than that, like 5'4", 5'3". I'm like, she's carried
about 5'11". From what I understand, she's got some firefighter background in her past.
Really?
But something happened on the job one day that just rattled her so bad she just stopped working.
Oh, Jesus.
She won't ever talk about it, don't know what it is, and I've been friends with her for almost 12 years.
And she hasn't told you a damn thing?
She won't tell nobody. So I don't know what she saw, what happened.
Well, there were some children that died in the fire recently in Hamilton.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, about 3 of them. So, I mean, it could be anything that she's witnessed. Like, and on her job, I don't know.
Yeah, it can take the smallest thing to rattle a person into not doing something that they usually do. So.
Yeah, so anyway, but now she could like carry, I mean, how big were the men she would carry?
Close to almost 300 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
Well, she must have a little meat on her bones her own self.
I guess you could say that.
So anyway, but yeah, now, how many bosses do you guys have on your job?
We actually have 3. 2 are the owners, they're brothers, they own the company, and then we have 4. We got one that drives out to the job site, checks on us, checks the work that we're doing. And then we got another one that sits in the office that actually sets where we go, how much footage is going to be needed as far as the concrete getting poured, what the measurements are going to be, gives them to our foremen, and we ride out with our foremen. Each crew has a different foreman.
Yeah, I probably have to check to make sure no one's slacking off and stuff like that. I remember one time. Now this wasn't a construction job. They sent me out. I went to a labor works thing, those labor things, and they send you out jobs or whatever. If you're like down on your luck, or if you're just like you got a job but you're looking for some side money, go to like labor works or whatever. They'll send you out. They sent me to a factory one time, and I don't know. I forget what I was doing. I think I was doing like boxes or whatever, like folding them and everything like that, and putting them out. But I was sitting down and doing it, and then the guy like on the forklift comes over. He's like, stand up. And then I did it again. He's like, if you do it one more time, I have to send you home.
Right. And I had to say, like that. Some, they don't care if you sit down. Like a lot of times if I get, because what was it, 2 weeks ago we had some time off. A lot of us have vacation time. And I decided I was going to go through an old company I used to go through called Minutemen. And I went out to a company called KDM. They do like printed signs, screen work. And we're on the night shift, we pretty much all sit down and just let the sheets come to us and just slide them over on the table. That's it. I mean, it's not bad work. It's just when you're standing, you have to run back and forth, change the print, change the ink. It gets tiresome.
Okay. All right. So anyway, what else in your tool belt you got there? I mean, you got the hammer. I see the hammer. What else? Show me these things here.
I don't have any of the nails or anything with me right now. The only thing we usually carry on us is the hammer and the belt. I mean, if it comes down to it, when we're on a job, when it's requiring that we need parts or something, we'll usually stick them in. But we don't actually take any of the parts home with us.
Oh, okay.
We usually take our hard hat, gloves, our utility belt, and the hammer with us. Now, we use a different type of hammer than your standard, store-bought hammer. This one's actually called a flat claw hammer because it goes straight out. What it is we can stick this into a corner and wedge out the panel. That way it's not stuck.
Yeah. So anyway, what's the hardest job you've ever had? What you had the hardest job you've ever think you had, or what's like the one job that you had, or you just couldn't wait for it to be the fuck over?
The Kentucky job.
The Kentucky.
Nobody wanted to work it. Every one of us hated it because it required going down at 7 o'clock in the morning, driving almost an hour and a half to the job site. Then we work all day through. At the time it was when the snow actually fell. We'd work through the day, try to work through the snow, getting the panel set up, and then. By the end of the day, it's almost 10, 11 o'clock at night. We're going back home on the highway to the shop just to go get our vehicles to head home.
Wow.
At that time, it was just ridiculously cold. We're all tired. We hadn't eaten most of the day because we're trying to get the job done as quick as possible. I mean, this went on for almost a week and a half.
Really?
A lot of us worked through some pretty bad weather down there just to try to get that done.
Jesus Christ.
And if it started raining, we worked through the rain. If it was snowing, we worked through it. The high winds that came through during that time, we worked through it.
What was like a memorable incident? Do you remember any workers getting pissed off or anything at a job? I mean, like some tempers or anything like that, losing their temper or anything like that?
Usually when that happens, you learn to duck pretty quick because one of us will end up throwing a hammer or one of the other material. It's just one of our ways of expressing frustration. I mean, there's a couple times a couple of guys actually got reprimanded because the hammers that they threw actually stuck in the panels.
Oh,
and they're made of aluminum. So
Jesus Christ.
They're strong enough to hold the weight of concrete getting poured in. But, you got a sharp point coming at you at a high speed. It's going to go through anything.
Yeah.
So.
That is really stupid. I mean, they really should let people go for that. I mean, from the hammers. I mean, you threw something else, but come on. I mean, this thing goes right in your head or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
it can kill you. I mean, a lot of people don't think about it when they do it. I mean, but it's a safety hazard that most don't take on. But.
Yeah. So anyway, so you got to do bosses. What other companies have you worked for? Your name of your company is what now?
Wallmasters.
Now, what's the company you worked at before? Is this like the first company you worked for? Or is
the
this
company I worked at before that was actually Robin Springs Apartments in Middletown. I was an outside contracted maintenance man. I dealt with, the siding, the repairs on the roofs. If air conditioners went out or they had leaks, I had to go report them. Basically, I was in charge of the entire complex's, cosmetic look. If there's somebody that put graffiti on the side of the building, I had to get it off. Somebody shot up the side of the house with a BB gun, I had to replace all the the plastic shingle that goes on the side of it.
You guys check for like poisonous air or anything like that in there?
A lot of the complex runs on the old gas, like furnaces.
Because there was this one woman I worked with, and this might be kind of out of your field, but you know, there was this one woman I worked with. She was talking about she had, I can't remember, what is the name of that? If anyone here knows the name of what I'm talking about, they can tell me. Yeah, distraction there.
I think there's a bird or something. Right,
there's a bird? Yeah. Well, someone was, this woman I worked with at one of my jobs, it wasn't a construction job, it was like gas station. Worked with this woman at a gas station. She was talking about like, she had like this detector, like in her house, detected air, and I guess it changed the color, but she almost like fell asleep and died almost, and she woke up. What is that called?
Carbon monoxide?
Yeah, thank you, carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide wasn't a really big worry out there at that complex. It was more or less the gas. If one of the pipes got cracked or something, you know, you got your gas leaking. A lot of us workers smoke cigarettes, so you know, if you're going around the side of a building, just take a quick break and you light up a cigarette and the whole complex goes. I mean, you're not going to feel it the next day, that's for sure. But I mean, it's still, you got to always look out for any signs of hazard that you can come across. The smells, the sounds, you know, the sights.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I know she like tattoos pretty well.
Yeah. I've been doing them for 16 years. I still got a lot of pieces to do on me. Most of my family's been doing them since the 1900s when the first machine came out.
Jesus Christ.
So it's just kind of passed down from family to family.
Oh, well, good for you. Well, anyway, so, okay, now, what some of these other jobs you've done here? Okay, you done landscaping.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of job, what's that kind of like compared to construction? For you, I mean, I've done it before too,
easy.
But easy.
For me, it's easy. I mean, putting plants in the ground, raking up some leaves. I kind of cheat on that. I go get a leaf blower. But, you know, still having to pick them up, you know, just sweeping sidewalks and stuff like that. I mean, for me, that's boring work. I have to have where it's high intensity. Like, I have to be constantly on the move doing something. If I don't have that, I will walk off a job.
Really?
I've done it before.
Jesus, you just walk right off.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, how often did you like ever hang out? Like, some of our construction workers, I mean, how often do you guys like see each other outside of work? I mean, you guys often hang out together or what?
Not very often. A lot of us live in different areas of the state, and we all just drive to there, drop off our vehicle, and just go to work.
So this is like a state thing.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
That's the only offices in Monroe, but you know, you got people driving from Lebanon down Dayton, you know, down to the jobs, or you know, the office, and you got people from Cincinnati coming. I mean, it varies as to where you live, how far they're going to go. Some just don't care. They have enough money in their pocket that they don't care to drop a few bucks to put gas in to go do his job.
Well, well, anyway. Well, I was wondering though. I see you have like a few people like, so far as like you're like one to like actually build a house.
Not really.
No. You know anyone is there anyone in your business or any friends that ever done that, or you know anybody?
Not that I know of. I don't try to talk to a whole lot of my coworkers. Because I'm one of them types, if I don't invite you over for a barbecue, I'm not really going to talk to you that much at work. I got to get to know you pretty good. And some of the people that you work with at job, they might seem cool at first day. After a while, you kind of learn, some of them are just straight out assholes. They don't give a shit about you. You don't give a shit about them. It's the way it works. There's one guy, I absolutely hate him. We're on a job, he slips and falls off the wall, and I just look over like, guy fell off the wall.
You know something I must admit though, sometimes you must get, I mean, you have to understand I'm laughing, but you have to understand sometimes people do find it funny watching people get annoyed.
Yeah, well, they've got